Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming, and in this video we're going to go over some of the same kind of stuff that we normally do. And then after we do that, I'm actually going to go through and I'm going to answer questions from that one video a few back that I was going to do on the IG live. For those of you who showed up for that live video or went back and looked at it, I didn't actually get to answering all those questions because I forgot my printout. So I'm going to answer some of those at the very end of this video. Probably drag it out a little bit, but I'm gonna go through them. I know some of them aren't actually questions, so we'll just see how it goes. First up, we got a few free codes for you guys. Next up, for those of you who are Charmander or Charmeleon members, send me an email. My email is down there in the description. Send me an email with your address and a screenshot. Just follow directions and I'll get this to you. So a screenshot of your membership. So if you're Charmander or Charmeleon, I'm going to send you a Pikachu in the mail. And then if you are a Charizard member, I'm going to send you a Pikachu VMAX in the mail. So instructions are, send me an email. It's #1PokemonCollector@gmail.com. It's down there in the description. And then in that email, I want you to send me a screenshot of your membership level plus your address, and then I will get it out to you. I wanted to show these guys because I didn't realize they were worth so much money. I had a guy recently who needed this Furret, and he basically donated to Nami for one of them. Then the other ones that I had left, I had a guy, he ended up paying $250 a piece for these. And there are 9 different holos. This is from the, you can see right there, Johto Series 1. You see 4 of 9 right there. There's 9 different ones, and the guy, he's pretty much willing to pay $250 for any of them. And the condition really isn't that big of a factor. And I've had several other people reach out to me. So, but this is all I have. So if you have these stuck in your collection, you know, maybe reach out to me and I'll forward you along, you know, to the guy who's looking for these things. But there's several people looking for them. They might actually be worth more than that. I don't know. But there are definitely some collectors out there wanting to find them. This would be pretty tough to find. All right, next up I have, I'm trying to get the tape off of it. I've got 2 of these sealed, I believe it's like Taiwanese Charizards. You can see it right there. I plan to submit these to PSA and try to get them in PSA 10. I think I saw one online in PSA 10, and I try not to spend more than $400 or so for these random like cards that are new that would be easy to grade. But these I got raw, or I got these sealed for $75 a piece. I figured that'd be an easy route to go instead of paying the $700 or so that the guy was asking. And so hopefully I can get those graded later on. I picked up some more of these, again about $15 a piece. They were cheaper for some reason when I bought the quantity of 10. If you went higher than quantity 10, they were more than $15 a piece. You try to buy them individually, they were more, which makes sense, you know, individually, but you'd think higher quantity, I could find them for a better price. I don't know why I brought this stack up here. So those. I do have one consignment that's in. He sent in some pretty cool stickers. I like those. I always liked that type of artwork on the Charizard. And then that Articuno right there reminds me of the toy that you can get from Burger King. It had like this little stand, and then there was an Articuno that looked just like that. It was like this plastic toy, and you set it down in there, and if you press it down, it would do like this little Articuno cry, or whatever you want to call it, voice. Alright, so these are all going to be labeled CS21. They should start tomorrow. But we have a Zapdos from the Web Series. That's in a 10. Got a Shining Charizard 8. Really decent grades. You know, the value is going to be there, I think, if you win these. You got the Burning Shadows Charizard GX. You've got a Blaine's Charizard. First edition PSA 8. Got a Shining Mew. This one we never saw on the English side. That'd be kind of cool if we did. You just see this artwork. Got a Kyogre EX from Tidal Storm First Edition. I've been really surprised by the Japanese random Gen 4 and Gen 5 holos. Got the Ho-Oh Play promo. That was one that y'all saw me win from PWCC a little while back. Got this Shattered Foil Jump Magazine Salamence. Got a Charmander from the McDonald's promos. Got a Gold Star Charizard. It is a 5. Got a 7 on this, or not a 7, a 9 on the Dialga EX. I don't think I've seen this one in a 10. I haven't really ever looked for it, but I haven't just seen one in passing. Here we've got a Shadowless Charizard 4, and you can see it's got a 4 mainly because of all that edge wear. And then we have a Plasma Storm Charizard 8, so that's a decent little lot right there. I'll be keeping an eye on these myself, seeing how far they go. Alright, now I've got some questions that I want to answer for you guys. So this first one right here, Hayden, how important is a YouTube channel to your business? So it's actually really important. At first I didn't think it was, but as the years have gone by, I realized that it's just another way for me to build a relationship with you guys out there. A lot of you that I reach, I have no idea that you're watching my channel. I get some great comments, from people and messages where they say that they actually watch this stuff daily, and it's really kind of humbling when I hear that kind of thing, because you guys see, I'm just turning on the camera, showing some Pokemon stuff, trying to sell products to you guys or talk with you. And, I get really good comments and feedbacks from a lot of you, or feedback. And so I really appreciate it. And I've also noticed, from the advertisement standpoint of it, you guys click through a lot of stuff that I send to you, so I try to be responsible in whatever I do send to you. I don't want to send any crap product your way. Or if I do, at least, tell you what's going on, what I think is good or what I think is bad about it, and let you make your own decision. All right, so Brady, hey Rusty, just want to let you know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't change Magic cards to Spell cards until Magician's Force was released. It was not changed when Magic Ruler was changed to Spell Ruler, which is what most people think. I have to look at that again. I think I've seen this comment about 4 or 5 times, but I thought when Magic Ruler was changed to Spell Ruler it was, but maybe I'm just way off on that one, on the reprints, because I've seen the Unlimited Magic Ruler or the Spell Ruler Unlimited, and it's like really rare or something. Like there's somebody out there who collects that kind of niche stuff for Yu-Gi-Oh! It was telling me how rare those items were, but I never really got into it. But for me, I just try to do like the Magic Spell thing for the reprints. Like I can tell that, I think there's reprints in 2010 for Yu-Gi-Oh! That don't have that little star thing down there in the bottom right hand corner. You can tell normally if you're looking at the card, but sometimes within the PSA case you can't really look at the surface and see if it was a reprint. But if you see Spell up there, you know it was, even if it doesn't have the little stars down on the bottom. Alright, Flex Washington, been watching some throwback openings of yours. Your channel is the reason I started keeping up with the hobby. First opening video I ever saw. I remember those Wizards of the Coast days like it was yesterday. Crazy to see all these boxes, and looks like maybe the rest of this question wasn't printed out for some reason. Maybe they got a limit on how much is going on there. So sorry, buddy. Jason Legg, hey Rusty, I asked Eston Pratt this recently as well. Do you ever worry about the amount of plastic we all use in the hobby? Sleeves, top loaders, savers, binders, pages, PSA cases, product packaging, bubble wrap, etc. For the most part, I really don't worry about that. I think there's a lot of other things that we could worry about first, like because plastic is just essentially gasoline, it's just ethanol. So if you're that worried about it, then maybe switch to electric cars and stuff. I'm actually getting solar panels, hopefully, so I'm going to be using less energy. I'm going to be renewing a lot of the sun energy stuff. I'm not really doing that because I'm going green. I'm mainly doing that because I'd like to have a backup power source if the grid ever went down, and I'd like to be able to stay warm and power some of these other things. But that's a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. You see all these advertisements for that stuff being free, and well, it's not. It's definitely not. Alright, so next up, love your videos, Rusty. Keep up the amazing work. Well, I appreciate that. TCG Fruition. Alright, Ben Davis, hope your family has had a good trip and you get to enjoy the time with your family. Well, I appreciate that. We did have a pretty good time when we were down there. My mom didn't. She ended up having to go to urgent care and a few other things after she fell. But it was pretty relaxing with my brother and everybody. I'm glad we got to see them because I think they're going to leave out to India. Well, I can't really talk about too much about that. Mr. Duck. Okay, question for Rusty. What are your top 3 favorite WotC sets? I don't know if this is set in stone, but I like Expedition. I like base set, of course. And then after that, probably Legendary Collection. I really like Legendary Collection too. I know it's a reprint set, but I do like it. Also says, can you go over some of your favorite trades / collection purchase finds, or maybe what you think was your best purchase? So probably the best one was I've got a whole series on it. It's like the largest purchase ever, where I went out to Jonesboro and I met up with the former gym leader, Jessie. She I did a lot of business with her over eBay and Facebook over the years, and finally I bit the bullet. I was like, hey, what will it take to buy everything you got? And so I went and met her out in Jonesboro, and she had an old shut down Chinese restaurant full of Pokemon stuff. I'm talking all kinds of stuff, from bricks of Ho-Oh promos to giant binders. Like you can't even fit your hand around it. Just mint verse series stuff to seal packs of like Charmander and Charmeleon national or city and state championship promos. I mean, it was crazy how much stuff there was in Japanese, English. I mean, you name it. It was basically there. And I'd been buying product from her for a long time. I'm talking about like complete Neo Destiny master sets, Skyridge master sets. I mean, all that kind of stuff. And you know, I couldn't believe how much she still had. I paid 25 grand for it. Now it's probably worth over $1 million if I just kept it and never touched any of it. All right. Chris McDougall. Hey Rusty, I always wondered if you planned on doing things with cards and card games for a living when you were a kid or not. And if no, what did you want to do when you were younger? Well, I remember when I was about 12 or so, I had a friend whose name was Tommy. And I told him we were going to do a card shop together. Me and him both were going to open it up. And in fact, when I went to college, I offered him a stake in the company, or you know, my eBay. I was like, hey man, if you invest $1,000, you can have 20%, and I'll do all the work. And he ended up not going through. And now, I mean, that would have been crazy what it would be worth. But yeah, I did want to do that, but I was actually trying to be a high school math teacher, and the reason I wanted to do that was because it was more of a family life that I could pursue, and I knew that I would have at least the summers off, and you know, the same holidays my kids, for the most part I would have those off, so I wanted to have that extra time with my kids. I didn't want to just have like 2 weeks, you know, in a year for vacation. I wanted to actually live, so that's why I was going to do the teaching thing. But by the time I graduated and had my license to teach high school math, I was already making more money selling Pokemon, you know, part-time, so I just pursued that instead. All right. Archangel Rutherford. Hey, Rusty, don't know if it's common knowledge since I'm a new viewer, but did you always stay in the Pokemon game, or is there a specific reason set that got you back into it? If you already got this question multiple times, any specific card arts? Okay, so I did get out of the game for a little bit when I hit about 7th grade, and from about 7th grade to maybe 10th grade I did the Yu-Gi-Oh thing, and that was just because that was what was popular back then. And then after that I did a little bit of Magic my last 2-3 years in high school, but it was mostly, I just kind of got out of it. I was into dating girls and playing, you know, sports. I didn't actually play any sports for high school, but I played sports all the time. I got asked to play several sports, but I just never did because of the money. Like, this might sound crazy, but back then I just really didn't have any. We didn't have enough money to cover the shoes and the jerseys and different things that you'd have to have. And I knew if I wanted to go to college, I was going to have to basically get straight A's and get a scholarship. Otherwise, I was not going. So I didn't do the whole sports thing. But I had a lot of fun after school playing, you know, with different teams. I did rec league, which, I mean, that's like $30 for the whole season. So that was easy enough to round up the money for. But, you know, then after I went back to college, I just tried to complete a few sets. I roommate with one of my high school buddies. We started playing Pokemon together. It was fun going back to Target, buying the Mewtwo Level X 10s and Regigigas Level X. I mean, that's basically what we did. And, you know, you could buy packs on eBay for like $2 a piece, like Storefront. And like fossil packs, I mean, they were super cheap. You could pay $15 and get 10 first edition fossil packs. I mean, it was super cheap back then. It was a lot of fun. That's kind of what happened. All right, Formula D. How did you start the business? Well, it started kind of like where I just left off. I was buying and selling in college. I didn't have enough money to finish out my collection, so what I'd do is I'd sell extras that I had collected from during my childhood, which wasn't much. I mean, it was hardly nothing. And eventually it just grew. Like, I just bought and sold for 4 years until I graduated, and then it went to a full-time gig after that. For someone who's thinking about starting their own TCG business, what are the challenges? Time. If you have a family, it's going to be a lot harder. I will say this, like now my time is allocated a lot differently than it was. Back then I just grinded away. You know, I worked as much as I could, squeezed out every penny I could from every card, sold every condition of almost every card that you can think of. You know, even if I only made, you know, 2 cents, you know, if I could sell something again, you know, for near mint and charge 10 cents higher, you know, I mean, you'd make that much more. And I would be constantly searching online for collections. I mean, just know that you're going to have to put in your time and put in the work unless you've just got a lot of money to start up. Quality content per usual. I appreciate that, man. Shane Treadaway. What would your personal collection be worth? Does your family share the same love for Pokemon? Also off topic, waiting for my PSA 10 first edition Jungle Pack to arrive. So excited. Regards, Shane, Kiwi Pokemon. Hey, man. I appreciate all the support you've given over the years. For actual value, I really don't know. Like, there's so many things, a lot of stuff I just get in and I step back and I kind of forget about it. As for my family, no, they don't really share the same love for Pokemon. My wife really doesn't, but I mean, she could name off a lot of Pokemon just because of how much work she does with me, but she doesn't collect or anything like that. And the kids, they get excited about it. They're kind of like kids about it, but there's no one really who's serious about collecting within the family other than my nephew Trey. He's kind of got into it a little bit more. I'm not sure how he's doing right now in college with all of it. You guys saw him when he was here over the summer, but for the most part, it's just me. Martinez plays TCA question. How long does it take to send a card back to PSA and get it relabeled? Because I finally got my cards back and got a couple mislabeled, so wondering if to send them now or to wait until PSA gets back to normal. Well, if you just got them back and you actually send them in, reach out to customer service and they will relabel it for free. Especially if it was on their end, they did it incorrectly. They should provide you with a FedEx label and you'll send it to them, and then sometimes it could take a week, sometimes it could take a month, sometimes it takes 6 months. I mean, I really don't know. It's more about the value of the card. I know if you have a higher valued card, a lot of times they speed it through, because when I got my base 1999-2000 Charizard relabeled, I put a super high value on it and it went through very quickly. Same thing with the no number Charizard, it went through very quickly. The only hang up there was they were trying to figure out how to ship it back because it was so high value. Alright, based Blue Boy, I'm hoping that I can make out what it says. Alright, what is your favorite modern Charizard artwork? Ooh, I don't know. I guess if we go back through, say, Sun and Moon. The Vivid Voltage one kind of sticks out. I don't really like the Team Up artwork. I do like the Burning Shadows one, but you know, it's still kind of bland if you really think about it. So I'll probably go with the Vivid Voltage artwork. Yeah. None of them are like super standout though. Although the Charizard VMAX from Champion's Path, yeah, I mean that's pretty cool too. It's but I've seen it so much, it's kind of like it's an old thing already, or it's like it's worn out. Kind of like when you hear a song, well, the first time it comes out on the radio and you really like it, and then it gets played so much you just don't want to hear it anymore. But then it comes back after a year or two and you're like, yeah, I remember, I like this, and then you're back into it. It's kind of like that with that one for me. So Matt Weisbeck, any recommendations on submitting 15 to 20 cards to PSA or Beckett without breaking the bank when you don't have a membership? Well, membership really doesn't even matter at this point. They don't, like right now, I think memberships are even shut down for PSA. For Beckett, it's hard for me to encourage anyone to ship to Beckett or grade with Beckett just because of their process. Basically, you're sending your cards out and just hoping that they'll come back, because the process for them receiving stuff is really it's like basically non-existent unless that's changed recently. As for PSA, I think your cheapest option now is go through someone who has allotted slots for the regular submission, which is $100 a piece. So there's no cheap option right now other than a different company like CGC or some other company that is a startup that still has those bulk options available. Next up, Bob Dole. I'd be curious if you made all your money in Pokemon or you did well in some other arena. From your purchases, it's clear you are doing well. Is it all from Pokemon? Yeah, it's all from Pokemon. In fact, our entire family net pay basically is Pokemon, and like even the advertisement stuff that I get here and there, YouTube, all of it it's from Pokemon. We did dabble in the renting stuff. We had one rental for about a year and a half. However, we actually lost money, going that route, especially with COVID and everything else that was going on. We ended up making money after we sold the house, but no, real estate really isn't our thing. Pokemon is it, and we definitely didn't have any startup money, or I didn't have any startup money for Pokemon. Johnny Finnegan, with all your knowledge you currently have of Pokemon and its market, and when it comes to all the products out there, new, vintage, old, if you had to say, let's say about $500 to $750 budget, what would be the top 3 products you would, I'm guessing, probably buy? I don't know. Right now, I can tell you stuff that I'm going after, and that's the stuff that you guys see in these videos. I like collecting Charizards because I know I'm going to long-term keep them. For $500 to $750, I just keep an eye on auctions, see if you can pick up a base first edition PSA 9, CGC 9, or BGS 9, holographic card. A lot of Poliwraths, Nidoking, and Magnetons out there right now going for pretty cheap. Chris V8, what's your favorite Mew card? The one from Expedition. I really like the way that one looks. If it wasn't that one, it'd be the first one, which was the Mew number 9 from the Wizards of the Coast promos. I always connect back to that Rainbow Mew. It was a card that everyone wanted to have, until Ancient Mew come out. But everybody wanted that Mew card, and it was a lot harder to find than the non-hollow one. The hollow one, people. I know it seems crazy now, but it was a big deal back then. AK, did you ever enjoy any other trading card games in the past? Like old school Digimon or even Duel Masters? Yes, in fact, I played both of those. Digimon was fun for a little while. I learned how to play the game somewhat. I really liked that one until the card show got weird. I like the original Digimon card show, or the Digimon show. As for Duel Masters, I did play that one. I didn't really watch the show that much. I can't even remember how to show. I could be thinking of like Zoids or something. But Duel Masters, I did play. In fact, that was a super hot game for about a month. And it was just like dead. Like it was completely out of the game. But yeah, and I probably still have some Duel Master cards kicking around somewhere. As for Yu-Gi-Oh, I loved playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I think that is the most fun playable card game that there was, and I'd even still play that now if I could. I like thinking up strategies, and even played the World Championship 2004 card game. I did really well with that. I did play Magic some in high school. I never got into it too heavy, but I was able to make some decks pretty quickly. I like going to an old card shop that was near me and spending like $10, just on random commons and uncommons and rares, and building a deck that would beat these guys in high school that I used to play with. They've been playing for years. Like they can get all these big, bad, expensive cards, and I just take basic ones. I love doing that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of anything else, back in the day that I might have played. But I think those are probably it. Brady M. Hey, Rusty. Just want to let you know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, okay. So I think you... look, I did reply to that one. So it looks like you put in there twice as a question. Mr. Stubstep. What sets have you completed? Any modern? Well, I've completed all the WotC sets. As for modern, I think I recently bought a Shiny Vault set. The complete Shiny set for Hidden Fates. All 94 of those. I think, and I bought all of them PSA 10 condition off of somebody, so I just went ahead and set that back. But for the most part, I don't go after the modern sets. I just go after the Charizards and maybe some other cards here and there that I really like the artwork. Dank Daher Ballist. Okay, CS15 gold labeled Zard is sick. Cool, man. All right, Gaknak 8. What do you think of Clefairy? Clefairy. I think he's pretty cool. Was he supposed to be like Gengar Shadow or something like that? I don't know much about him. Alright, TCG Fruition. When did you get your first PSA 10, first edition Charizard, and when did you grade your first PSA 10? Ironically enough, those were at the same time. My very first submission to PSA, I put on the 15 vouchers that you used to get. It was, I believe it was 14 first edition base set hollows, plus a Fire Red Leaf Green Charizard EX. So I had that, and there was two first edition Charizards on it, and I actually got a first edition PSA 10 Charizard graded. So I had a 9 and a 10 on the two Charizards. So on my very first submission, I got a PSA 10 first edition Charizard, and that was when I graded my first PSA 10. So I thought that was pretty cool. Big dumb idiot guy. All right, yeah, the Paki challenge thing is no joke. 8-1 a couple months ago. I could take the heat, but the production of saliva was intense. Well, we'll see if we'll get there. We're a little over halfway there, but we've still got a ways to go. The donations have slowed down quite a bit. All right, Kid Terry, Rusty, that chip landed me in the hospital. LOL, be careful. Yeah, and that's kind of why I put it off. I was a little on the fence about whether I should do it in the first place or not, but I think I'm in health enough, and I'll just give a bunch of like don't do this, kind of type things beforehand. Henners, any legitimacy to the pre-release Raichu? Have you seen a copy? Also, I don't have an Instagram, so if you could also upload here, that would be ideal. Haha, safe journey. Well, it looks like it is going to be on YouTube. As for the pre-release Raichu, the only legitimacy that I have personally from a WotC employee is the former print production manager. She told me a lot of crazy stuff. She actually told me that you had the the one sheet with it. It was not on the PCD sheet that a lot of people say that they heard, I believe, from Mike Boozer that it was on, because that has a Clefable and a Raichu in the top left. But she actually said that it was its own. It was its own little sheet or whatever, and it was 11 by 11, I think, 121 cards. Destroyed all but one row or two rows or something like that. And so there's supposed to be 21 copies. I think that's what, maybe it was 11 by 10 and destroyed all but, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it was 21 copies that she said. And she had 5 personal copies, and she had them locked away in her storage locker. However, I've never seen pictures. This person has disappeared off the face of the earth. She's been wrong about some other things as well. Like, tried to tell me there was only 55 copies of the Ninetales era, which there's no way that one's right. So, for all I know, there is some legitimacy to it, just because, you know, several different managers have talked about it, but I don't know if we're ever going to have any type of proof for that. I do know a few people who own a copy. However, whether or not they could ever be proved as real, I don't know. Like I said, actually, I can't even say that I know that they own it, because I haven't actually seen it in hand or, you know, in their hands. But there are some scans out there and pictures of it that have been provided for the public to see, and you could probably go see some of that on E4. All right, Kyle Binke. I don't know. There's a marketplace for cheap English singles, Troll and Toad, TCG Player, etc. There isn't a great website for Japanese singles. 10-cent cards are $2 on eBay. Why hasn't this gap been filled? Seems like there's a huge market for lower end. Okay, so the rest of that question. But Troll and Toad did offer them really cheap. I was sending all my Japanese stuff there, and I saw a lot of sales come through, but it's so cumbersome for them to find the right cards and get them shipped out that they discontinued anybody sending in more of those that are under $40 in value. So that's going to be a tough one. But yeah, I mean, I get where you're going with that, but at the end of the day, you got to look at 10 cents. You know, how much money is somebody really going to make on that when they sell it, and who's going to want to pay that extra dollar in shipping every time if they're only buying one card? So there's a reason it's $2 on eBay for the most part. But yeah, I mean, the best way to get those is just bundle them together. You know, see if you can find somebody who has complete sets, or just buy the packs. Because I mean, a lot of times the pack is only $2 or $3. All right. A unboxing. I'm in Marietta, LOL, fellow GA collector. Well, I'm not in Georgia. I'm in North Carolina, but still in the same area. We border each other. First, nice video. Man, he is consistent. You guys got to admit. All right, DP McFly. Hey, I'm in the Raleigh-Durham area. I used to live in that area, but I don't anymore. This one's a bunch of goats. And then top 10 Pokemon. Oh, that's a good one to finish it out. How do you feel, or how did you feel during Logan Paul's second box break when he read your message to millions and millions of people? Did you ever dream you would be known worldwide as one of the greatest collectors and sellers in the hobby? Nothing but respect for both of. Sorry, man, I didn't get all of these questions apparently printed out. All right, so for the first one, I was actually kind of excited just to see the look on my wife's face. She really appreciated the shout out that was for, and I think that was worth it. And for those of you who are wondering, no, I didn't pay $40,000 for that pack. I guess there were a lot of people who didn't pay for their packs that were supposed to, and so some people were reached out to, including myself, for a much lower price on how much the pack would be sold for. And so that's why I picked up the one pack. I knew it'd probably be a dud anyways, and still it was very expensive, don't get me wrong, but it was not the $40K. Next up, he said, did you ever dream you'd be known worldwide as one of the greatest collectors, sellers in the hobby? Absolutely not. I was just, kind of on my own journey. And I don't know if I'm known as one of the greatest collectors, sellers in the hobby. It's just maybe my stuff is shown. So, I mean, there are so many people out there with really deep collections. And, I wouldn't trade my collection for anybody's in the hobby. Even Logan Paul, he just bought himself a case of first edition boxes, and Gary, he's got 9 first edition boxes and all those Charizards. But the stuff that I have, there's just no way. The uncut sheets themselves, I don't think anyone else could duplicate that unless there's some print production person out there who's been an employee forever, and he's always been pulling off these sheets off, and setting them to the side. But like that kind of stuff and the unique items that I have on top of all the boxes and the PSA graded cards, it'd just be so hard to duplicate. But there's people out there with net worth with their collections that probably just completely blow me out of the water. I mean, just think about Scott Pratt and all his trophies. I mean, who knows how much stuff he really has. I mean, he could have some crazy stuff, that he's never even shown people, because, I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, a lot of stuff he doesn't like to show because, I mean, think of all the flack that you get. Just the stuff that he puts on eBay, I imagine. We've heard him talk before about all the messages that he gets. But honestly, I'm truly honored that, a lot of the community thinks that way. But I'm just here. I'm just a guy. Like, most of the time when I go into, like earlier today, I went into Food Line and I had like a little sticky notepad, those ones that they give out in the chest tins, and had a little Pikachu on the top, and I had my little grocery list on it. And she was like, "Oh, where'd you get the Pokemon paper from?" And I was like, "Oh, I sell Pokemon cards." Next thing I know, she's asking who I am, and she wants to look up some Pokemon cards. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, yeah, she probably wants to buy some newer product. She'll never know. I mean, she has no idea who I am, and I probably won't want to meet over the product. But it's still cool to be able to connect with so many different people, especially through here, on YouTube. Going back to the very first question from Hayden, it really is a nice community, and it's well-rounded. It's all over the place. It's all over the world, and you just never know when you're going to find somebody who you can connect with in Pokemon. And so I'm going to try to stick around for the long haul. Top 10 Pokemon. Your videos are top notch, and I think you get more views than I do on your videos as it is. And you've only been around for a couple years, so in 10 years you might be top of the line, and I might be fizzled out somewhere, just sitting on my collection and nobody know who I am. So you just never know when you're going to be big, I think, in this community. And right now, I think people think of me as a bigger fish than I really am. I'm just a guy. Like, I'm just sitting in my socks right now. I'm getting ready to take off and go chill out with my family. So I appreciate all of the questions that you guys sent out. Sorry it took so long for me to get around to answering them, but hopefully if you stuck around all the way to the end now, you weren't too bored. Thanks.